Hey everybody. I've got to watch my head.
Just a tall guy.
I'm sorry, I am a tall guy. Thank you so much for coming, to every single person that's here, whether you are behind a column or in front of one. I have to just, as a disclaimer, the last time I did one of these in London, I wore a jumper that was knitted with a house on it and a t-shirt, and I was about to wear another jumper today, and I just thought, it doesn't matter whether we are a few hundred people or 10,000 people, you gotta dress for the occasion. So I wish I had a red suit. I do not have a red suit. I do have a green suit. Thank you for being here. I am so excited to do something that I've always wanted to do for so many years. We just tried this out for the very first time the other night, and it was quite amazing the way that I was able to take everyone on a journey. I hope to do the same thing here tonight. I've never done a gig in Liverpool. You might have a problem with that, but that makes this, right now, the first ever time I have sung in Liverpool. But I'm not going to sing right away. I'll sing some little bits later. The idea of this is that I wanted to bring my dog, but my dog couldn't come. Well, you know, still, she's at home, happy, with a ball and just, you know, shoes. The idea of bringing the dog, though, doesn't change the kind of intention of this. I want to bring you into my house. I want to bring you into my studio, which is in my house. And in the house, and in the studio, there is a big kind of chair like this, just like this one. There's a piano. There is a computer that I use to record things, and of course, there's tea. And the idea being that I want to show you how I have made this record, how I have then went off and recorded it, and the stories that I've been trying to tell. And I'm just going to choose a couple of things to let you in on that. And I'm going to sing as well, for the first time, some of the songs that are on the record with my two amazing musicians who are here, Max and Albon. So before we get carried away with all these kind of weird colours and shapes that are on this screen, it all starts off at the piano. It starts off in a really simple way. I wanted to write an album entirely at the piano. I wanted it to be powerful, even if it was just the piano. But to start, you need something. And when you're standing or sitting at a piano and you haven't written anything yet, it's like being in front of a blank page. And you just have to start with the simplest thing possible and not worry if it's completely crap. And so this album started like this, a fifth. That's a fifth. It's the space between the first note and the second one. The piano doesn't work. Does it work now? Can you hear me?
Yeah!
Can you hear the piano?
Yeah!
Because I can't. Are you sure you can hear it?
Yeah!
So it starts off like this. And then on top of it, I start layering other bits of melodies, and it starts to sound like this. So when I'll go off into the studio and I start recording this, oh, I told you the piano didn't work. Well, whilst this man fixes the piano, Hello. Liverpool. Normally the piano works. It was meant to sound like this. A whole album that starts like this. And when I go off and I record that, and I put some stuff on it in the studio, I'm standing there, I'm listening to this, and it starts to sound a little bit special. I start to see a landscape. I start to see ancient Egypt. I start to see a riverbank, and suddenly I feel a little bit less alone. I'm in the studio on my own, but I start to see a whole world. And out of that, I want to start singing on top.
Oh, looking for the sun, for your fun on a dark night. Everybody's looking, but it doesn't even feel right.
But it'd be even better with beats. Everything from just the simplest tiny piano. And on top of that, I start layering other instruments.
Back into the ocean where the boys go. Let me tell you where the night goes. Rising from the ocean every morning in a gold boat. Let me tell you more.
And at this point, you're in the studio and you have absolutely no idea if whether you're writing something that's completely ridiculous, it doesn't make any sense, or if you're actually writing something that's going to become a song. But you don't let yourself get distracted by it. And so as I'm screaming, as I'm writing, and obviously, my partner Andy's in another part of the house and he thinks I've just gone completely crazy. But then I get to the middle A, and the middle A starts to become a bit more open, and it sounds like this. As we're recording this song, so many different musicians over the next few weeks, the next few months join the whole thing. But sometimes the purest thing is just what happened to the piano. And as we go on into the song, I start to think about how on earth I'm going to take this song into a different place. And I start to want to hear other voices on it. And that's why at a certain point I start to call up my friends. And I call up my friend Ida, who was the singer who was at college with me. And she was on Happy Ending. She comes over from Stockholm, and I say to her, listen, we're going to just do this really beautiful thing, and I just want you to sing all over my album, but I'm going to start with the very first song that we wrote on it. Just check this out. I'm going to mute everything, and this is Ida's voice. And this voice suddenly starts to kind of give me an idea. And this is how records are made, at least in my own weird way. suddenly realised that on top I could have another melody. So she keeps on singing, she's in the booth, and I'm standing there with another keyboard player, and I'm like, how about this? And we start to layer it. Then we get into the next bit of the song, and I'm like, okay, this whole thing is becoming a little bit more emotional, a little bit more spiritual, and a little bit less clubby. And we get into the outro, and in this outro I'm like, it's got to have some sort of a feeling as if it was a prayer. And I say this phrase, just give me a reason because I'm losing faith in modern times. God, give me a reason, I'm losing faith in modern times. And it sounds like this.
God, give me a reason, I'm losing faith in modern time.
And I'm like, obviously, we need an organ. So we go, and we're in Montreal, and it's minus 16 degrees outside, and we record an organ at midnight.
God, give me a reason,
But just recording an organ wouldn't be enough. I want the organ to sound as if it was playing at a rave. So we bring back in the beat.
God, give me a reason, I'm losing faith in modern times. Just give me a reason, I'm losing faith in modern times. God, give me a reason, I'm losing faith in modern times. Just give me a reason, I'm losing faith in modern times. Just give me a reason.
We start playing music in this church louder and louder and louder, and the vicar is getting more and more anxious. We're playing at 1 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold of Montreal and raining all around the church. Is what this entire record led us to, even though until now no one knew. And that's it, that's how we made that one.